Good morning once again from Poissy in France. This morning I'm heading into the centre of Paris and I'm going to try and do that on the train. I hope I can manage to sort out the tickets and railway stations in French. Once we're in the centre of Paris, then I've got my sketchbook with me, of course, and hoping to go and visit the Louvre. Touch the screen. Languages. English. Well, I have some tickets. Whether they are correct or not, I have no idea. Don't really know where I want to go. Okay, we're at Châtelet des Halles. Now I've got to find my way out. Where do I go? And here we are, in the centre of Paris. Not entirely sure where at the moment. Gave myself plenty of time for getting here, which is just as well because it's surprisingly confusing. So I've just strolled along the River Seine to come and pay a visit to the Eiffel Tower. Not for the first time. You kind of have to when you're in Paris, don't you? Just to prove that I was here. And by the time I stroll back along the Seine, I'll be in time for my time slot at the gallery. Here we are now, approaching the Louvre. There's the Louvre along here on my left. Main gateway is just along here. So the buildings of the Palace of the Louvre are pretty amazing in themselves. This is a stunning courtyard. The glass pyramid designed by I.M. Pei is pretty amazing too. That was a very brave decision by the French to put that pyramid in the middle of this courtyard. It's quite an amazing thing, and I'm as interested to see that as I am to see any of the buildings or the art. Just sitting waiting for my time slot now. I suspect I won't be allowed to use the camera inside the gallery, so I'm going to switch off for now and see you when I come out. Well, the Louvre was an amazing experience. I asked at the information desk, just out of curiosity, how many visitors they think there are in there today, and they said 35,000. They get 30 to 35,000 visitors every day. Well, they close on Tuesdays, don't come on a Tuesday. Of course, most people are only there to see the Mona Lisa, La Gioconda, and if I'm honest, there are better paintings. There are better paintings in the same room, but hey, it's the famous one. The palace itself is huge, absolutely vast, and quite amazing. So I'm glad I came. It took me an hour and a half of queuing, even though I had a time slot ticket. Now it's time to go and see if I can get a train back to Poissy. Success! Back in Poissy. Need to get out of the station now. It's started raining again. 5 minutes, I'll be back at the apartment. Ta-da! Easy as that. So back in the flat. That was a bit of a whistle-stop tour of some of the major attractions of Paris. I think if you're going to visit Paris, you need more than a couple of days. And you need to plan it a bit like a military campaign. You've got to book all your tickets for the major attractions 2 or 3 weeks in advance. Then even if you have a booked time slot, you've got to expect a couple of hours of queuing when you get there. For me, my visit to the Louvre today pretty much took the whole day just to do that, even though I had a time slot booked. I managed to find time to stroll along to the Eiffel Tower, but I wouldn't have had time to go up the Eiffel Tower or to visit the Gare d'Orsay Museum or anything else. So I think if you're going to do Versailles, you're going to do the Louvre, you're going to do various other attractions, go up the Eiffel Tower, really you need to set aside a whole day for each of those just to cope with the practicalities of queuing, getting in, getting out, getting there, getting back to your accommodation. But still, the Louvre was quite amazing. I'm glad I went. Saw some interesting stuff. Now, tonight I'm going to wander into Poissy to find dinner, and then I'm going to pack up all my stuff and get ready for heading to Belgium tomorrow.
So here we are, good morning, we're in Poissy on the outskirts of Paris, and it's overcast and it's threatening thunderstorms, so I'm in full wet weather gear again today, hoping I don't get soaked like I did on Friday. And we've got a 400-kilometre ride today from Paris up to Bruges in Belgium. So we're currently 8:25 in the morning, and although we're 20 miles from the centre of Paris, this is still kind of morning rush hour traffic. I've got 100 kilometres of fuel in the tank, so I'm going to need to fill up quite soon. Temperature gauge says 15 degrees. It feels hotter than that, but that's because I've got all my waterproof layers on. It'd be good to get up a bit of speed. Up with fuel, and this one was a prepayment pump. You've got to guess how much fuel you need, pay for it first, and then fill up. And I never like that because I'm never quite sure how much space is going to be in the tank. And I always underestimate, and that means Tigger's tank isn't actually full. Never mind, it'll get me halfway down the road today, and I'll top up again later on. Still just going round the outskirts of Paris here. Paris centre is over on my right. I've been on the road just over an hour now, and we're heading north towards Boulogne. There's a good reason why I'm going there, which I'll tell you when we get there. And we're just now coming into some thick fog. I guess it's not as bad as rain. I'd rather have fog than rain, but to be honest, I'd rather have sunshine. So this is Boulogne-sur-Mer. And I'm just taking Tigger through the gateway into the old walled town. Cathedral built right in the centre here of this old town. cruising along here. There's a reason. I'm just going to pull into this car park and find somewhere to plank Tigger. Looks like a good space to me. Right there.
So this is the little walled town of Boulogne-sur-Mer. And I said I was riding along, there was a reason for me coming here. It's just a lunch stop. But more importantly than that, my great-grandfather, it so happens, was born here. Now, he wasn't French. His name was George. And his parents moved here from Birmingham in about 1870 something. But he was born right here. And what I like about my great-grandfather George is that he grew up, moved back to Birmingham and became a professional watercolour painter. Had a long career as a watercolour painter. I have one of his paintings on my wall at home with the date of 1896 on it. And I've never quite worked out why his parents moved here from Birmingham. What was it that brought them to Boulogne as a young couple? I like to think maybe they were painters too. Fascinating, had a nice sandwich and a coffee. I'd always thought of Boulogne just as a ferry port really, but I'm kind of surprised to find that it's such a cute little town. Anyway, time to move on.
Rain's pretty unpleasant now. Let's clean the lens, there you go. Clean that one as well. The weather report did say northern France was going to be thunderstorms, and it's more kind of drizzle than thunderstorms. But the weather report also said that as I get into Belgium, it will clear up. And the sky certainly looks clearer ahead, so I'll keep my fingers crossed for that. Had enough rain in France. Seems to have rained all the time that I've been here. Oh look, we're just entering Belgium. So that's us out of France, not even any redundant border controls there. We're into Belgium, which I think is actually the 10th country of this trip, believe it or not. Now, at this point, the weather report said the rain will stop and the sun will come out. Not so sure about that yet. Just on the outskirts of Bruges now. I'm not quite sure how much further. It is still raining. Wet cobbled streets in Bruges. Wet cobbled streets never fun on a motorbike. Okay, so there is the hotel, and I'm now looking for space to park the motorbike. Parking for motorcycles. This is what we want.
Okay, I'm in my hotel in Bruges. I've got all my kit drying. Believe it or not, I had 3 waterproof layers on today. My Revit waterproof liner, my Revit jacket, and my cagoule over the top. And my shirt is still damp on the inside. It's still raining outside. So I've got time to go out and have a look round and find somewhere nice for dinner. Still raining, but I'm just going to check on Tigger, make sure he's okay where he's parked. This is a dedicated motorcycle parking area, but Tigger's not quite in it, but I'm sure he'll be alright. No one's going to complain. Now I'm carrying my painting kit around with me, but in this weather it just doesn't work. It's raining, so you get water all over the paper and that ruins the paint. There's also nowhere dry to sit, and the flat light just gives you no light or shade to work with, so unless the sun comes out, I think this is going to be photographs and films but no paintings. Tomorrow I've got a short ride from here to Hook of Holland to get on the ferry across back to the UK. Thanks for watching. If you like this kind of video, click like, click subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.